Hi, folks. Many of you are just in our last quick council meeting, and then we have some new folks as well. So welcome. So you would do mind pulling up the slides again, if you are able? Thank you. Well, while we're waiting for more folks to trickle in, please feel free to put your name and your position and your college. And then we'll go through and tell you a bit more about Star CA. And then those of you who are part of the council, feel free to add anything. Or if you're new to the council, it might be helpful. You're getting a little bit of information. And then those of you who are not yet part of Star CA, then again, this is hopefully then provides just an overview for you about what it is. And then, of course, we can answer any questions. So I'm Lindsay Laney. I'm the faculty coordinator of the Tutoring Center at Columbia College, which is one of the smaller California community colleges in Sonora, California, just above Yosemite. And I am the co-director of Star CA with Reagan Dozier, who she should be on her way in. We were just in the last meeting together, and here she is. And then we have a couple other folks that then we're able to work with is with the council, of just improving Star CA and figuring out where we need to go, what information people need, how we can better it for our tutors. So Reagan, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Sorry, I forgot that we had two different links.
I know, no, it's okay. I was
My
like,
name
I
is
know she's
Reagan.
coming. We were
I
just on the
am.
last one.
I was like just sitting there and I was like, oh, I'm by myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Reagan Dozier. I'm the director of student success programs and Mesa coordinator at Porterville College. I'm usually way better than this. I don't know. So nice to meet everybody.
And then feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, your name, your position, and your college. And I'll do the next slide. Reagan and I are just going to kind of go back and forth, and then she actually brought along one of her tutors as well, which we're really excited about because I always love hearing from them. So just kind of a brief overview about Star CA. So we've called it the Tutor Exchange. I think at one point we called it a tutor consortium, but keeping it simple with just a tutor exchange. So a way for us to share our resources across our system, since we have 113 colleges, and we're able to potentially use the same platform for our students. The website is listed where you could check out some more information, but essentially joining the consortium means that then you contribute 5 to 7 hours a week with one or two of your tutors, or even more if you wanted to. Basic then tutor training is provided with just kind of an introduction to online tutoring, with the understanding that these are tutors that have already been trained by you or somebody from your center. And then this is just kind of some additional training about the online piece, about the platform, a little bit more just kind of reinforcing some of the concepts as well, how to use the whiteboard. So that all then the Star CA tutors go through, and then once they've completed that, then they get added into the platform. Next slide. You want to take this one, Reagan?
Absolutely. So what is Star CA? So just so if you ever were like, what are they talking about? So within it, we have a schedule that includes about 25 subjects. We usually offer about 500 plus hours per week. We have just a variety of different subjects: writing, math, accounting, Spanish, anything that pretty much what you could think of at your own tutoring center. And then students are able to access the campus tutor through Star CA and Net Tutor. So, which is via your Canvas, so your learning management system. And it's no cost to colleges beyond the tutor pay and the supervision piece. So it's an incredible resource that we offer to each other to help support each other in subjects that we may not be able to help recruit.
I don't use Teams as much, so every time I have to like find where's the mute button.
It's
Um,
okay.
yeah. So we started in 2019. There was just a small group of us. And as you can see, we had 9 colleges, 15 subjects, and we started with about 100 hours that we then shared. I was a part of that early group. And then we've steadily been growing with adding more colleges, more subjects, more hours. I think this year, um, I think we've been slow to get our 2026 subjects and maybe hours on, so that isn't showing maybe as many as in the past. But we've steadily been growing, just getting the word out and I think just sharing our resources with our students and just having them gain those experiences of more tutoring and different ways that they do that. You
Absolutely.
ready,
So,
Reagan?
yeah, yeah. So, we did want to have a spotlight on Porterville College because Porterville College, what we do is a little unique for to the other members of the tutoring exchange, which is that we actually use Darcy as our primary way to interact with students when it comes to our online services. So our all of our tutors, math mentors, and writing mentors they participate in Star CA and they're available. That's the reason why we can offer so many different subjects. We can offer so many hours. So they're inputted in, and for our Porterville College students, they join the Star CA in order to receive services when it comes virtually, and then also the consortium like tutors too. 2Ds who come in. So it's an incredible, incredible opportunity. And I really want to just introduce one of our incredible, she is one of our tutors. She's a writing mentor, Judy. Judy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Judy Runyon. I am a writing mentor at Porterville College, and I'm very thankful to be here.
Thank you, Judy. So, what we wanted to do is from the perspective of a tutor, what does it look like to interact in Star CA? So, Judy, go ahead and tell us a little bit about like when it comes to logging in, how you help support students. What does it look like?
So, with logging into Star CA, I go through the process. I get there, I go through the process, I take a deep breath, and I'm like, I'm here to help students, I'm ready to work. And I go through the process of going through the Canvas and then going to uh, online tutoring. and then I click that button, and then I go to the Star CA menu, and then I click live tutoring. And then after that, I click my subject, which is English. And after that, I open up my room for my hours for the day. And then I just wait patiently for any student who needs to come in for help.
What has been the most interesting student that you had come through for Star CA that was in Porterville College?
That was in Porterville College. Ooh, I think the most interesting one I've ever had was, I would probably say this most recent one that I just had yesterday. The student was writing an argumentative essay, and they had to compare Plato's allegory of the cave. And they chose to talk about how knowledge is power, and they were writing about how teachers are not necessarily using the best of their ability with Canvas, and they were comparing the two to that, um, how knowledge is power. It was really interesting.
What would you say is the greatest resource when it comes to Star CA and particularly interacting with students that are not in Porterville? So when it comes to interacting with students outside of Porterville.
Interacting with students outside of Porterville, I would say the greatest resource, excuse me, is the fact that tutors are able to have live communication and being able to give feedback on the spot. I would say that that would be the best. I mean, NetTutor is a wonderful, wonderful program to be able to help students anytime after 7 and sometimes way into the wee hours of the night. But I think that getting help with live feedback right then and there helps them be able to feel more confident in their ability to be seen and be heard.
Anything else like you want to add? And then I'll open it up to the audience for them to ask any questions.
I would just say that, tutoring has been a wonderful experience, and I'm really thankful to be a part of it. And honestly, it's been life-changing for me. And anyone who decides to do tutoring, I hope you have just as a good an experience as I've been having.
Oh, that's so sweet. Any questions from the audience for Judy?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey Judy, I was just wondering, do you have students who come and join you and ask if they could do like a video session with you and not just using the whiteboard feature with you? And
Yes, I do.
how's that process been?
Sorry. Yes, I do have students who come in and they use either the Star CA version of video calls, or we can go through Zoom for 45 minutes or so. It depends on what's more comfortable for the student. I've noticed that unfortunately sometimes there are some bugs with the video version of Star CA, but once you master the bugs, you can get through it. It depends on what's ever better for the student. Some students like Star CA, some students like Zoom, and it just we have to go with what they're comfortable with, because we want them to be able to get the best tutoring possible.
Gotcha. Thank you. So through the Zoom, is it like you send them a Zoom link and then you guys join through Zoom? Is that kind of how that works?
Yes. So what I do is I set up the Zoom, and then I send them the link through the Star CA chat. And then as soon as they click it, they automatically get sent, and then I invite them into the room, and then I give, as the host, the ability to screen share, and then we go from there.
Got it. Okay. I was just curious. Thank you so much.
Of course.
You have any other questions for our student, tutor? Okay, can we give her a round of, I didn't see any. Can we give her a round of applause? It can be daunting, to and so, give her some reactions in the chat. Daunting to come in and speak on their own. And thank you so much, Judy. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we had one question. Sorry, it's in the chat. They asked, how's the experience working with students from other colleges?
Okay, so my experiences with working from students from other colleges, it's been wonderful. It's absolutely been such a wonderful experience. I will say that they have different, like the professors, the way they work are very different than what they are at Porterville College. And it's been really interesting to like see how they want assignments done and see how they have their syllabuses set or their rubrics it's and it's just really and it's just been really interesting. And it's just been really interesting to see all of that. And it's also interesting with how to see the structure is at other colleges, and how they compare in the sense of how are they different? How are they similar to Porterville College? So it actually makes me realize how much more linked we actually are all to each other. And it's been really a great experience with that.
That's a great way to segue it because the reason why Porterville College, like the reason why we put all of our tutors into the tutoring exchange is because besides the fact, for our students to be able to have an online option that's a little bit more steady because, Zoom only has like a 45-minute or so amount. And then Teams is just another structure for our students to potentially learn. And it can be a little bit cumbersome for our students. So that's the reason why we use Star CA because it's already in Canvas and it's just easier for the student. We're just trying to think of ease to get students through. And we can use a Zoom if it's needed, if the students really want that kind of feature. But we just try to keep it to what's easy for the students. But the other aspect was to ensure that our Porterville is very small community. We pretty much every one of our students, when they take classes, we have like one faculty per subject for majority of our subjects. So for them to get the whole interaction of seeing what it's like in other areas, seeing what the assignments look like, so that they can see themselves in other areas, so they can see themselves when they want it, when they transfer, and that it's not as difficult as it may seem, and that we're all pretty much doing the same things and get a better understanding of different areas. So thank you, Judy, because you really segued right into what it was that we're attempting to do at Porterville College and why we enable it for them to be able to interact with just different people across California. So
Thank you.
thank you, Judy. One more round of applause for Judy, and then we will move forward.
So I'll take this next slide. So just thinking about kind of the value, essentially, we ask for at least one tutor. You could, have it be two tutors, depending on their schedules and what they could commit. But on average, 5 hours a week. And looking at that, I know that California minimum wage has gone up. So that number is a little different, but the amount that you're investing is probably around $2,500 or so. And that's serving your own students, but also other students as well. And then in return, you then get access to a lot more tutoring, a lot more subjects. And so of course that number of what you would potentially be paying is exorbitant. So, hence the sharing of resources like Reagan said she's at a small community college. I'm at a small community college as well. And so we just don't have the availability that, students might want and need. So I love that then here's another option for our students to get tutoring. And it's still students, right? These are still peer tutors. These are still their peers who are taking these classes maybe at different colleges, but, they get that valued experience. Next slide. You want to take that, Reagan?
Absolutely. So the return on investment is there are you put in 160 hours, and then this is just like the amount that we're indicating it may potentially cost. And the return is 12,800 hours, which is you're saving about return on investment for your college students 8,000%. Because as a reminder, this is a free service except for the one tutor that we ask you to put in with the hours and the supervision of that particular tutor. So it has a huge return on investment for being a part of the tutoring exchange that we have available. So, and here's the numbers for you. Any questions? All right, and then how to join. So we have a participating institution agreement, a PIAs. It's available on the starca.org website. You can also look it through our FAQs on there. You just need to submit in the PIA agreement. You can submit it to myself and Lindsay, and then we can get it submitted over to where it needs to go. And we need your tutor's subject and their schedule. So their name, their subject, and the schedule that they are going to work. The tutors have to go through a minor training just so they can know how to use the StarCA system. So there's a little training that they have to go through, and then once they pass, they'll have access to be able to make their own room. Judy, how was the training? Was it that difficult from what you remember? Because you did it quite a few semesters ago.
So my experience with the training, it was very straightforward. However, I will say that I remember telling you that I did have some difficulties with some of the questions because I knew the answer and I would click them, but then it would tell me I got them wrong because it was very like, it's just like you were supposed to leave the ones that were right blank, and then the other ones that were wrong, I was supposed to click them, and I thought I was supposed to click the ones that were right and leave the other two blank. So that was one of the things that made it a little difficult in the beginning. But once Reagan had told me that it's just like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be like this, I was like, oh, and then the training went super smoothly.
So it's relatively pretty easy as long as students are readily reading, but also getting support. But as I was the supervisor, and it's pretty easy to help support them if they have any questions with the training and enabling StarCA via the NetTutor link. So you have to just reach out to have it enabled. So it's when you click on we call it online tutoring on our Canvas. Our learning management software system. So we have it under online tutoring, so it's easier for students. And when faculty want to add it to their own Canvas courses, it's just really fast for them to be able to find it. But whatever you call it at your own institution, so that they click on that and then it goes into like NetTutor or StarCA as like the option. So you just need to make sure that's enabled for you to have the StarCA option along with the NetTutor option if you have NetTutor, or just have the StarCA option available. So those are the things you have to do in order to be able to join. Any questions about that? I think so. All right, we can move forward. So if you have any questions at all, please contact myself or Lindsay. We're the co-directors and we are just here to help answer questions. Lindsay's incredible. She's like the recruitment machine, I feel like. She knows like all the ins and outs of like what you may potentially want to ask, but we are both here to help support you. So any questions at all, please send them our way.
Yeah, and we can stay on a couple minutes as well. We have about 4 minutes until 1 o'clock. So feel free if you have a question, you can add it into the chat or raise your hand or just unmute and we'd be happy to answer them as well. Or if you have something really specific and you want to email, or we can set up, a separate Zoom or a call, we can do that as well.
I did have a quick question.
Yeah.
Hey, so I just sent you guys an email about we had StarCA. We first started it last fall semester,
Mhm.
and we that tutor ended up transferring out. So now we just found a new tutor, and I just sent you the information for them. And I was just wondering, once I send you the information, what's like the process? Like, what's the, I guess, the next steps that I need to be aware of?
Oh, I just responded to that email.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was fast. Okay, cool.
I'm really fast. So I responded and I already CC'd in the contact for Star CA, and they will reach out to the actual like student
The
for
student,
them
right?
to get the
Okay,
training. And then when the student completes the training, then they'll have access to the system.
perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here. Again, we'll stay on a couple more minutes if you have questions. Thank you, Judy, for being here. We love hearing from tutors with their experiences with the platform.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Reagan. Thank you for allowing me to do this.
Of course.
Well, enjoy your afternoon. Thanks again for being here.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.